Hi, hello, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lady Celine, and today we are continuing with Chapter 3 of Chaos Head Noah. We are on the hunt for the D-Sword. We've seen multiple versions of it. Each of these pretty mysterious girls seems to have one, and now Takumi's being told he's got to get one of his own. So, let's see if we can find it. And I actually don't remember. I think it was the last one. We learned who Shogun really is. We are confirmed from some third person point of view that Takumi is Shogun. But who exactly is Shogun? What has Shogun done so far? How is they exactly involved in all of this? The store was somewhere near Cat Street, it looked like. Cat Street was a twisty street that ran alongside Meiji Street, the main connection between Shibuya and Harajuku. I'd heard once that it was originally a river that got filled in. There were a lot of theories as to why it was called Cat Street. Some said it was because there were a lot of strays there. Others said it was because the street was as narrow as a cat's forehead, a common expression in Japanese. Not that I cared either way. Cat Street was a good distance from here. It would take at least 15 to 20 minutes to get there. A bike would get me there faster, of course, but I didn't have one. I didn't want to go near the station, so I opted to go through Shoto and cut across Miyashita Park. I walked a little fast across the bridge over Meiji Street. I was finally here. I was in such a hurry that I was starting to get frustrated at how long it was taking. Cat Street was, compared to Center Street, much quieter, and felt more like Harajuku than Shibuya. All the stores were selling osari clothes, the kind I'd never had any interest in. Dai sheeple. Really? Okay, what is osari? What is osari clothes, and why do they deserve to die? Oh, okay, it's just slang. It just means fashionable clothes. Okay, gotcha. We're just having one of those moments. We're just hating on whatever's popular, whatever uh looks like conformity to this guy. I could tell I was out of place as I walked down the street, and I got more and more upset. This was totally outside my usual territory. There were a lot more couples than there were in Center Street. I could tell they were all window shopping, lol, trying to show off because they didn't actually have any money. Losers. You don't have money either, dude. I almost regretted coming, but I choked those feelings down and told myself that I needed to get the sword. I walked as fast as I could, face glued to the map, trying to avoid making eye contact with the people around me as I headed to my destination. Some nerd shop, I bet. Like, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I say that lovingly. Town Vanguard was down a narrow side street off of Cat Street. So this is it. One step down a side street and the whole place felt very different. The alley was narrow, cramped, and dirty, much too small for a car to travel down. The buildings were all old, traditional wooden houses, or empty stores with their shutters pulled down, and all the shutters had graffiti sprayed on them too. Okay, so the Town Vanguard is the only one that's open in this little alley. You see, even if Cat Street looked fancy with its luxury brand storefronts, that was all just fake. This dingy alley was the real Cat Street. Behind the facade, it was nothing but garbage and run-down old buildings. Of course, I didn't like the backside any more than the facade. I wasn't any more at home here than on the main street. I only had one home, ESO. Town Vanguard turned out to be a smaller and gloomier shop than I'd expected. I could tell why the blogger who had mentioned it had called it underground. There was a sign reading open, but it certainly didn't seem busy. Going inside felt really hard. Okay, weird. I would think that if it's not busy, that would make it a little easier to go inside. You know what? Never mind. I can see it both ways because one is like, being nervous about going in there because there's other people, but then also by going in there when there's no other people, you stand out more to the employees, and that's yeah. not every, not everyone feels comfy with that. I'm just gonna cut that last line. I was too much of a wimp to go into a fast food place all by myself. How could I go into such a creepy looking place? I wanted to go home. No, I needed the sword. What was I supposed to do? I went back and forth outside the shop for a little while. There was absolutely no one else in the dark alley. I spent about 30 minutes wandering around, trying to muster up the courage to go in, and not a single soul came by. Many times, I almost felt brave enough to go in, only to give up at the last second. But I couldn't give up and go home empty-handed. This was the only place I could get a D-sword. But my instincts weren't willing to let me go inside. I had a delusion where the shopkeeper came out to meet me. Of course, she was a cute maid, and she spoke to me in an anime voice. She knew exactly what I wanted and offered me a D-sword with a friendly smile. Please, take this sword, master. I could be such a horn dog sometimes. Sometimes, more like all the time, man. Everything would be so much easier if that happened, I told myself. And maybe my wish was heard by someone, because a 3D girl did come out of the shop. Her outfit wasn't anything like I'd expected, though. It was some kind of ethnic clothing. It looked really flashy, but the girl herself seemed really gloomy. She had long hair done up in an afro, tied up in a bandana with a strange, eerie design on it. She said she'd gotten sick of watching me wander around outside her store, so came out to check on me. My delusion had not become reality. Well, of course, that could never happen. Before I knew it, she dragged me inside the store despite my reluctance. I hadn't even had the time to say no. Okay. Girlie just wants to make a sale. Girlie's getting her bag on that commish. I ended up inside. I'd overcome the first hurdle at least. But what if this store was actually owned by the demon girl, and the whole D-sword thing was a plot to lure me here? I could be killed at any minute. I looked around the dimly lit shop. There were no other customers. Well, you knew that. The air was stale and there was a thin haze. It smelled like a mix of cigarette smoke and mold. 5 minutes in here and I'd probably be ready to throw up. I could see what looked like merchandise, but I couldn't tell if it was for sale or not. I mean, there's sale signs right in front of your face. I'm guessing that'll indicate if it's on sale. It was all placed randomly throughout the store, and to tell the truth, it might have all been garbage. It certainly didn't have any price tags on it. And I realized after I got inside that there were a lot of adult porno toys too. Okay! There were things you saw a lot in rape-style H games. I tried not to look at them. This place must have been some kind of adult knick-knack shop. Despite how eager Oh, it's a Spencer's! Despite how eager she was to get me inside, once I was past the door, the woman quickly ignored me. She sat down on her stool next to the register and smoked a cigarette. So, the haze was at least partly her fault, then. I hadn't even been inside for a whole minute, but a combination of nervousness and embarrassment, as well as how sick I was feeling, was making me sweat hard. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. Time to find the D-sword, fast. I walked toward the back, looking at the shelves as I went. I quickly found the fantasy weapons corner that the blog I'd read had talked about. Is it more sex toys? This one part of the store stood out from the rest. There were several toys lined up carefully in a display. The toys themselves all looked cheap. Actually, I realized they were mostly just different colored lightsabers. Some of them were so cheaply made that they were obviously fakes. I wasn't even sure if they would even light up. The light-up shurikens that the blog had talked about were sold out, it seemed. That was kind of a surprise. But there was one thing mixed in with the lightsabers that was very clearly different from the others. It's a sword. Just one look at it and I recognized it as a D sword. It was just like the one I'd seen online. I picked it up. It was lighter than I'd expected. What was it made out of? Soft plastic? There was no blade. The edge was smooth. I ran my finger across it, and of course, it didn't hurt at all. Compared to the ones that Senna and Fess had, it didn't have any weight or a complex design, and it certainly wasn't sharp. Maybe it was a fake? I was a little worried, but this was the only thing in the shop that could possibly be a D-sword. Did this even light up? No, this does not look like a light-up one. The one Fess had been swinging around at the concert had some kind of glass embedded in the blade, which had lit up with a pale light. It was pretty cool. But there was no glass on the one I was holding. Maybe I should just give up on buying it. This D-sword was such a piece of junk that I was ready to give up, even after coming all the way here. But find the sword and salvation awaits. I remembered Fess's words. Right, if I didn't buy it here, I wouldn't have any clue as to where to get another one. Maybe it just looked cheap, and when it recognized its rightful owner, it would suddenly transform into something with incredible power. Okay, fair. We're already getting into like fantasy territory with all this stuff. I can understand thinking that. Maybe I'd just seen too much anime and manga. But Senna and Fess both had D-swords that seemed to possess a strange strength. Maybe this sword would turn out to be the same. What should I do? I say just buy the thing since you're not sure. And we'll check with the girlies, see what they say. Save the receipt in case we gotta return this piece of junk. As I stood there uncertain, the clerk came up behind me. She grinned a gloomy smile and pointed at the D-sword. 10,000 yen and I'll throw in a little bonus, she whispered. Okay, I'm a little scared of what the bonus is, but only $100, that's not bad. I was so stunned at how cheap it was that I couldn't believe my ears. I had some decent savings built up from my RMT business. 10,000 yen was cheap enough that all I'd have to do was pass on buying a single figure. When I heard the price, and also that it was the last one the store had, I bought it immediately. The bonus was a cheap bangle bracelet. Total garbage. The true nightmare began once I bought the sword. Town Vanguard didn't ship. You had to walk home with anything you bought. Even if it was a toy, the idea of carrying this huge sword across the middle of Shibuya was enough to quench any excitement I'd felt. I already paid, though, and the clerk steadfastly refused to return my money. Oh, so he tried. This was going to be incredibly humiliating. I had to walk down some of the most fashionable streets in Tokyo holding a giant toy sword. Of course, the DQN couples and well-dressed ladies all chuckled at me as they walked by. Damn it, I wish they'd all die. I headed home, delusions filling my mind of me swinging the sword wildly and murdering everyone in the street. Yeah, you would, man. You would be one of those. Ah, home sweet home. I was finally home. I'd started running once I'd gotten close, and I was out of breath by the time I got up to the base. The cold gazes of the people I'd passed had really stung. I don't know how Senna managed to endure this humiliation. It was something I could respect in a way. There was no way I could do it. Huh? Suddenly, I heard a sound from the other side of the base. Was someone here? Oh, maybe Rimi came back to see us? Or Nanami. That's my guess. I froze and gasped. I remembered the smile I'd seen on the face of the demon girl who'd called herself Rimi. Maybe she'd come back. This time, maybe she'd come to kill me. What should I do? Run? I could sense the presence of someone in front of me. The setting sun cast someone's shadow on the ground. It was clearly the silhouette of a woman. I quickly raised my D-sword. Holding it in my hands like this, I realized what a piece of crap it really was. The one Senna had held had a strange power and intensity about it. But mine didn't seem to have anything like that. Maybe it was a fake after all. Could I really fight with this thing? Maybe if you swing it hard enough, you could do some blunt object damage, perhaps? Not a chance. Even if it was real, I still couldn't actually fight someone with it. Holding it in my hands, it felt weirdly heavy. Maybe I was holding it wrong? It didn't feel like something I could actually swing like a weapon. The shadow suddenly began to move. It was coming closer. Stay away from me. I closed my eyes, thrusting the sword out in front of me at a random angle. Not that I really expected to hurt anybody with it. But I had a faint hope that the sword could maybe, just maybe, help me. But then, nothing happened. My foe didn't say a word. Maybe the D-sword had annihilated the demon girl with a single swing? If so, that would be incredible. Oni, it's Nanami. Brother, what's that sword? I opened my eyes, but instead of the demon girl, I saw Nanami, the other demon girl, am I right? She was looking at me with contempt in her eyes. Nah. The tension drained from my body. I collapsed where I stood. Don't scare me like that. This was just awful. She was an awful sister. What kind of awful sister likes to entertain herself by scaring her brother? Who the hell did she think she was, anyway? This was why 3D girls would always be inferior to 2D ones. I wasn't trying to scare you. I just came to see if you were alive, like I always do, but you weren't here. I had to waste 30 minutes standing here worrying about you. I just wasted a lot of valuable time because of you, brother, you jerk. Worry? She was worried about me? I refused to be fooled by such an obvious lie. So, where did you go? You almost never leave your room, and you weren't picking up your phone either. I don't think he'll ever pick up his phone. Oh, yeah, he didn't even take it with him. I'd left the phone in the base. I knew nobody would call me, so there was no point in taking it. What's that sword, anyway? Did you buy it just now? She was staring at the sword, looking a little confused. Oh, I get it. It's some kind of anime toy, right? You really are an otaku. You look ridiculous with it, too. Aw, be nice. You looked so wimpy a minute ago when you were holding it. I'm laughing just thinking about it. I ignored Nanami and opened the padlock on my room, then tried to head inside. Hey, don't ignore me. Leave. You know I'm alive. Now go home. She was always making fun of me and did nothing but complain every time she came here. If she really hated it that much, then she should just leave. I certainly didn't want her here. Listen, I came all this way to make sure you were okay. Would it kill you to show a little gratitude? I even bought you a present. Is it another Garo Froggy? She pouted at me. A present? Yep, Mom said to bring it to you. Here. Okay, she handed me some mandarin oranges, 10 or so, in a red net bag. It wasn't a great present. I'd eat mandarins if there were any lying around, but they weren't exactly a favorite of mine. Anyway, I want to rest a little before I go, so I'll eat them with you. Go home. I can't believe you. Your little sister is here with a present, and she's offering to eat it with you. You should be happy. What was there to be happy about? Why would I want to eat oranges with my little sister anyway? Who does that shit? She probably just wanted to eat some herself. She always was a big eater. She used to always eat my food too. We got in fights about it all the time. Nanami went inside the base, ignoring my protests. I had no choice but to follow. Got any tea? I'd like something hot. Of course not. I only drink soda. Nanami sat down on the sofa and took out an orange. I sighed and set the D-sword up against my computer desk. I didn't need the bangle, so I tossed it off into a corner. Dude, just give it to your sister. That would be such a nice little gesture. Huh? What's that? Nanami quickly picked it up off the floor. Hey, this is cute. Did you buy this too? It's actually pretty nice, particularly for something you bought. Cute? How? It was a cheap thing, probably not worth more than 500 yen. Nanami just had terrible taste. I ignored her and took a seat at my desk, grabbing an orange as I did so. Hey, are you just gonna throw this away? Well, I don't need it. Okay, give it to me then. Huh? What? Bewildering, right? You don't mind, right? You were just gonna throw it away. You should act like a real big brother for once and give your little sister a present. It's not a present, it's just some junk you want. Fine, take it, whatever. Really? Yay! Oh, she looks so cute. I love it. She was certainly easy to please. As soon as I gave the okay, she quickly put the bangle on her arm. Such a cheap little sister enjoying such a cheap gift. Well, brother, does it look good on me? Not at all. Looks like shit. Worst I've ever seen. Oh, okay. Brother, you jerk. I gave her a present, right? So why was she treating me like this? What kind of little sister calls her brother a jerk? You... Come on, you knew she wanted a compliment and you shut that shit down. Where did she learn to do that? Go play 100 H games and learn how to behave properly. Jerk. She was smiling too. I was getting really angry. I like this, so I'm not giving it back. Actually, this may be the first time you've given me a present. I guess I'll just have to take good care of it then. Whatever. Nobody asked you to. I didn't even buy it for you. Anyway, you're done, right? So leave. Get out. Leave. I'm busy. Don't get in my way. So rude. Such a jerk. Suddenly she looked upset. You don't have to be so mean, do you? I haven't eaten my oranges yet, and you haven't given me my tea. I don't have any tea for the likes of you. She glared at me, shoulders heaving with rage. Eventually, her eyes started to tear up. Oh, we hurt her. Fine, if I'm really bothering you that much, then I'll just leave. Yeah, go. Oh. Brother, you jerk. I hope you get an orange peel in your eye and go blind. I'm not giving back the spangle either, jerk. Good, don't give it back. Her high-pitched yell echoed through the room as she grabbed her bag and flew out the door with incredible speed. Whew. At last, the storm was finally over. Every time I talked to Nanami, I felt exhausted. Why did she keep coming when she knew how much I didn't like it? Read the room. Ooh, we're going to learn more about Nozomi. The first melt ended with better results than expected. The increase in the GE rate showed only a minor deviation from initial projections. And the biorhythm control is going well too? Graph which shows the cyclic changes in a person's physical, sensitive, and intellectual state. Commonly said that on a day when people's biorhythms are high, they're in a good mood and able to focus and perform well. On days when they're low, the opposite occurs. Shibuya's GE rate is higher than other areas, and it's especially stable too. And that makes it easier to manipulate, and in addition, to drastically raise the people of Shibuya's biorhythms. Please see the report for the results of our experiments. You'll be satisfied, I'm sure. It's only natural that you deliver results given the amount of money and manpower we're offering you. I understand its effectiveness well. My church has found its believers growing exponentially over the past few months. Church, okay? Project Noah will advance to the next stage then. Will that be all right? Oh, I don't like the sound of that. What about the code sample? We've secured 3 people, but we're not at the target number, are we? Indeed, we need a minimum of 5. The sample holders are steadily gathering. All that's left is to take them when we need them. Sample holders are steadily gathering. All that's left is to take them when we need them. So maybe, did he say there were 3 at the moment? Maybe he's talking about the swords? Something about the swords? I'll leave it in your hands then. May the divine light save us. Go about your efforts with the utmost caution. Yes, I am aware. But yeah, maybe like the subject is the girls and they're, having them reach their full potential with these D-swords or something. I don't... Oh, man. I think it's time to sleep. I bit back a yawn and looked over at my PC's block. It was showing 5 a.m. I'd spent the whole night grinding in ESO and hadn't gotten the rare item I wanted. 8 hours of work and nothing. Well, it happened a lot. I looked over to the side of my computer desk. The D-sword I'd bought yesterday was still there. It was close enough that I could grab it at any time. It hadn't glowed at all, for what it was worth. I was hoping that at some point it would transform into an awesome weapon like the one Senna had. On the monitor, Grimm's avatar had just leveled up. My Nightheart was max level, so he wouldn't level up again. As I rubbed my tired eyes, I wondered if it was time to make a third character after Lieselot. I found myself thinking about experience points. They were something you saw a lot of in video games, but the way I saw it, there were experience points in the real world, too. When I'd started ESO, I'd been a completely clueless newbie, but now I was Baselard's famous lightning-fast Nightheart, the game's ultimate warrior. So, for instance, was it possible that some of the person inside me's experience points had been reset somehow? Maybe that's why I'd forgotten things I should have known. Maybe that's where the weird inconsistencies in my memories had come from. Like with Shogun or the Demon Girl. That your experience was white? Before I'd lost my experience points, that is, the person inside me, had used the name Shogun in chat. Person inside had used the name Shogun in the chat. Oh, like leaving messages for the rebooted self. Okay. Maybe the demon girl, Rimi, had been a big part of my life too, and I wasn't a friendless otaku. Okay. No, that was going too far. No, that makes sense. I think we're onto something. But maybe before, I'd had some kind of incredible power that would have let me fight the demon girl. I wondered if I was the only person who could come up with an idea like this. Not that it really seemed that strange to me. Humans could only ever judge things by the standards they created for themselves. Did that mean it was possible that I, and not just me, but everybody else in the world, was wrong about everything? Okay, now you've gone too far. When I was little, I'd gone to the dentist, and they'd said to me, "You did a great job not crying even though it hurt so much." Back then, I'd felt kind of proud for enduring the pain, like I'd done something special. But looking back, they were probably judging how much pain I was in by looking at how bad the cavity was. But maybe the same level of pain was really bad for some people and not so much for others. Valid point. Maybe the way people felt things or sensed things was totally different. Take giving birth, for instance. I'd seen a lot of people online, for instance, saying that women could handle the pain, but men couldn't. Or what about marathon runners? Maybe what made them special wasn't their stamina, but the way they could endure pain. Or maybe take S&M. Some people enjoyed receiving pain, and some people enjoyed giving it. Maybe everybody had different ways of experiencing their senses, and different levels that they could endure. Maybe the toothaches and headaches that I sometimes had to put up with were a level of pain beyond what an ordinary person could handle. And if I could pass that pain to them somehow, they'd die on the spot from shock. All this speculation left me with the selfish delusion that I was somehow special. Of course, that's where we came back around. So I'm special, huh? Nah, no way. I denied it, but I'm sure it was a delusion everybody shared. Every man wants to be the strongest in the world. Everybody wants to think they're special, chosen. They want to believe a dramatic future filled with adventure is waiting for them, like on TV or in the movies. The desire to be a hero, I guess you could call it. It was childish, really, of course. I had that same desire. We call that main character syndrome. Maybe it was my destiny in life to defeat the demon girl. Of course, if someone actually told me to do it, I'd have several conditions. I'd need cheat codes, obviously, like God mode for one thing, or invincibility. I didn't want to be scared or get hurt. If I couldn't have that, in other words, if I had to do it right now, I would absolutely refuse. Which meant that if the person inside me's experience points had been reset, I might be at a big disadvantage. I was almost late today, Maybe staying up till dawn to play games before school day was a mistake. I had to run to make it in time. When I arrived outside my classroom, I paused to catch my breath. I didn't want to do anything to attract attention from my classmates. Being late was a potentially fatal mistake. If any DQNs took an interest in me, my life was over. Just play it cool, slowly walk in, not heaving, breathing from running. I slowly walked into the classroom. My head was pointed toward the ground, and I avoided looking at anyone. Of course, I didn't give anyone a cheery good morning. I tried to make myself as invisible as possible. That's just always how I did things. Like usual, I reached my seat without any issues and sat down. Ooh, okay. I'm curious, because Rimi supposedly is our classmate. If we'll see her somewhere around the school today, perhaps? I quickly put my head down on the desk. Now I'd be safe for the rest of the homeroom, or so I thought until I was tapped lightly on the back.
Yo, Taku.
Hey, Taku. You came to school 3 whole times this week. You're turning into a real teacher's pet. Ah, Misumi. Misumi again. I sighed, but it wouldn't be right to ignore him. I began to raise my head and stopped. Was this Misumi really Misumi? 2 days ago, I'd called him like the demon girl had told me to do, but something had been very wrong. He'd acted like the demon girl was in our class, and that was impossible. Maybe the demon girl had brainwashed him, or maybe he'd become somebody else entirely. Hey, what's wrong? You in sleep mode already? A loud electronic noise echoed through the classroom. I felt a slight vibration near my chest. Oh, it was my phone. Damn it, why now of all times? What kind of idiot would call at a time like this? And why was it playing the ringtone when I'd set it to vibrate? Maybe I'd messed up the settings? Hey, your phone's ringing, Taku. Yeah, do something about it. This is just gonna grab attention. I know that. Should I answer now? But if I did, Misumi would know that I wasn't asleep, and I didn't like answering the phone anyway. If I didn't answer, though, it would annoy the rest of the class. Having my phone's ringtone drown out the rest of my classroom was bad. I needed to stay invisible. This was really bad. Caught between a rock and a hard place, fella. Hey, you're not going to answer? Are you actually asleep? But now I'd missed my chance. I couldn't move. Suddenly, the sound of vibration stopped. It must have gone to voicemail. I let out a sigh of relief, being careful not to let Misumi hear me. I was glad I'd learned how to set up voicemail. Hey, Taku. Who was that? A girl? It's the girl you were walking home with, isn't it? It is, right? Ugh, shut up. I'm already attracting too much attention because of the phone call. Please just leave me alone. Was Misumi always this annoying? He was always too friendly, but he hadn't always been this annoying, right? No, man, you're just irritable. Leave him alone. That voice, it was coming from right next to Misumi. Just leave him alone, Daichin. He seems like he's tired. She was in this classroom, acting like she belonged here. That's Rimi's voice, isn't it? Okay. He was probably up all night playing video games, right? You're too nice to him. Well, you're an enemy to women everywhere, so I'm not nice to you, that's all. She was talking like she belonged here. She was fitting in like she belonged here. I was too scared to look up. I didn't want to admit that girl was there. Well, even if you're not nice to me, I know lots of girls who will be. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If your girlfriend heard you say that, she'd cry. Girls right. Not that I have any idea who your girlfriend is right now, though. Ooh, stirring up the drama. Anyway, the bell rang. The teacher's coming. Had the demon girl really always been my classmate? No, that was impossible. She wasn't here 2 days ago. Misumi was the only one who talked to me that day, and I hadn't come yesterday. And now she was here today. How had she wormed her way in? As the homeroom chime rang, everybody headed back to their seats. I fearfully looked up, trying to see as much as I could without moving my head. I wanted that voice to be a hallucination, and for that to happen, I needed to prove she wasn't in this room. I didn't see her. I didn't see the girl. Maybe it was a hallucination? Maybe she's right behind me? My seat was in the 5th row. There were 9 rows in all. She wasn't in the seats in front of me. Did that mean she was behind me? But I didn't look back. I couldn't do something that would attract so much attention. Damn it, this was so frustrating. Was she in the room or wasn't she? I didn't feel the prickling on my neck. Nobody was looking at me, and I couldn't sense anybody's gaze. Was she here? Was she not here? Which? I stared down at my desk, trying to see if I could sense her, somehow. Then I heard the sound of the teacher coming into the room. I forgot their name. It was Tsukaji or Tsukada or something, I think. It was the phys ed teacher, and he was a huge meathead, but he didn't yell or do any physical punishment either. If anything, he was the kind of teacher who could take a joke. There was a mild murmur of surprise going up and down the classroom, but I was too busy thinking about the demon girl to worry about it. How the hell was I supposed to sense anybody? This wasn't a manga. Was I just stupid? Ahem, we have a transfer student joining us today. The teacher spoke in a whisper, so that's what the fuss was about. I mean, that's better than I thought maybe he was bringing some bad news. I got like this very bad sense of dread with the class reaction to him. Go on, Orihara. Introduce yourself. I couldn't hear the transfer student's voice. Was she really here? I took a quick glance at the front of the room. Hey, there's the pigtail girl. Ooh, good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. I want to see something bad. Sure enough, there was a girl there. She was really tiny. She might have been smaller than Nanami. She looked kind of weak and timid, in a moe sort of way. She was pretty cute for a 3D girl. Maybe. For some reason, there were tears in her eyes, and she was looking down. Poor girl doesn't want to be here, does she? That wimpy-looking transfer student didn't matter at all. What mattered was Rimi. I had to do something about her. Oh? Huh? I heard a voice from the back of the class. Rimi, she'd started talking. Kozue, you transferred here? Kozue? Who the hell was Kozue? Who was Rimi talking to? Is that the new girl, maybe? Oh, Sakihata, you know Orihara? Yes, I do. Rimi was talking to the teacher. I was getting even more confused. Couldn't even think straight. See, I chose the bad one, but we're getting the happy delusion music. The transfer student laughed innocently. I followed you, Rimi. Really? Wow, you're really brave. What? Was Rimi talking to the transfer student? Did they know each other? Was this transfer student a servant of the demon girl too? I froze, unable to do anything but listen to their conversation. Good to see you again, Rimi. You too. Uh-oh. Dead face. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Ugh, scary. Yeah, a whole lot of fun, maybe. Right? I can't wait. I can't wait. Hey, don't you feel the same way? You do, right? Takumi Nishijo. Eep. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That was only a little creepy. It seems like Orihara is a little nervous. All right, we can skip the introductions. The teacher's voice brought me back to my senses. I was so relieved to find out that this was just a delusion. The transfer student was still standing there timidly and not saying a word. Everyone, this is Kozue Orihara. Make her feel welcome. Orihara, your seat's in the far back row. You can sit down now. The transfer student bowed silently and started to walk toward me. Is she gonna be sitting right behind us, maybe? Her seat would be 4 rows behind me. I thought about pretending to follow her with my eyes as she walked, so I could look back and see who was there. Ooh, that's kind of smart. I don't think it would go past Rimi. I think she'd still like pick up on it, but from his point of view, that's kind of sly. You could make that work. But if I did, I'd stand out a lot. Some DQN might see me and say, "Don't stare at the transfer student just because she's cute." Then they try to beat me up. What should I do? Turn around or wait until homeroom ended? My head drooped as I squeezed my fist tightly. It was no good. I just didn't have the courage. If I turned around and saw her... Is that person... Huh? A bad person? If they are, maybe I really will kill them for you. Okay. Are we maybe hearing Seratan? Oh, the transfer student passed by me. I gasped and looked up at her. Our eyes met, but she quickly turned away and passed me by. That voice. It was a delusion, right? Maybe I was under so much stress, I was really starting to lose sight of the distinction between delusion and reality. In the end, I stayed there trembling in my seat, lacking the courage to look around. I focused on trying to calm my fear of Rimi, who I was sure was watching me. Homeroom came to an end as I tried to figure out the right answers to the new doubts that were rising within my mind. There were 5 minutes until first period started. Misumi was already on his way to the new girl's desk. He was evidently aiming to start hitting on her the first day. My other classmates were all curious about her as well. The classroom was a lot noisier than usual. On the surface, it was a peaceful, ordinary day. But to me, it felt like I was in the middle of an enemy camp. My heart was pounding so hard and wouldn't calm down. My body felt tense, and it took a lot of courage just to move a single finger. I was fighting the impulse to turn around, with the knowledge that doing so was suicide. Taku? My breathing almost stopped. My mind went blank. The voice was right behind me. She was here after all. She was right here. You don't look so good. Are you okay? Run. Run! I tried to, but my legs were shaking too much to even stand up. As I sat there frozen, the demon girl, Rimi Sakihara, came around to my front. Close the eyes. If we can't see her, she doesn't exist. You're soaking with sweat. Did you catch cold? Just like she had 2 days ago, she sounded worried about me. Just like she had 2 days ago, she offered me a floral-scented handkerchief. I didn't take it in. Instead, I wiped the sweat away with my hands. Why? What? I couldn't even look at her. I could hear in her voice that she was smiling, though. Hey, what were you talking about with her? Rimi crouched down and put her hands on the desk, resting her head on them to look at me. She was looking at my face again. I looked away as fast as I could. Damn it! Was she just not going to let me escape no matter what? My heart was about to burst from fear. Somebody save me! I'm really curious. But he didn't say anything back to the girl, so what is she talking about? What was she even talking about? Who was I talking to? The transfer student. She whispered something to you when she passed by your desk. Do you know her? Okay. Rimi was still smiling. But was I imagining it, or did her voice sound like she was interrogating me? A little scarier than the cops, even. I thought you weren't interested in real girls. Were you lying about that? Okay. What do you care? Was she trying to find out my personal information so she could threaten me or something? No, I wasn't into 3D girls. That was something I was always clear about. Okay. Dude, why does it sound like she's replying to his thoughts? Like, he's not talking out loud right now. Are you interested in me? A freezing chill ran down my spine. More sweat was pouring down my forehead, even though I'd just wiped it away. Was that a threat? Or was she telling me to join her? Or was she trying to act moe and seduce me so she could set me up in a trap? Alarm bells were going off in my mind. Red flags were everywhere. I couldn't say another word to the demon girl, or I was doomed. Huh? Taku! Did he pass out? I didn't even think about it. I just leapt up out of my chair and ran out of the classroom, tripping over the other students' desks as I went. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, gosh. I ran straight up the stairs of the school building onto the empty roof. Dude, what if she follows you? What the hell? The girl didn't seem to be following me. Bruh, she still could, though. Okay, then you're, like, stuck up here with her, with her. She'll probably just block the exit. This is not good. I don't like this. But still, I couldn't relax. I decided to crouch down and hide behind something. My knees were shaking. I was amazed I'd managed to run like this. Maybe that was just a sign of how desperate I'd been. I couldn't take any more of this reality. Even that D-sword I'd bought turned out to be useless. I couldn't take it to school. It would stand out too much. I'd let my guard down. When Misumi had told me that Rimi was our classmate 2 days ago, I'd thought it was a lie or a delusion. But she'd really become a classmate. Did he delude her into being? There was no sense in trying to figure out how she'd done it. She was a demon after all. She could do things that humans couldn't. Maybe she brainwashed the class. Maybe even all the teachers. Ooh, I forgot about the whole brainwashing thing because she seemed very out of it and possibly like controlled when we saw her in the alley committing the crime. And there was also, I remember there's that little bit where Nanami kind of went blank and almost walked into traffic. That was startling, and that kind of reminds me of the like group suicide dive where like they probably didn't want to but somehow were made to jump off the building. Okay, so maybe mind control, not brainwashing, but mind control might be a thing around here. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go to the hospital. Yua had been at Cafe, and Shogun had found me online. Her servants were getting closer and closer to me, and they were launching constant psychological attacks, too. Maybe I'd do better to just not leave the base. There were too many enemies outside in reality. They were constantly threatening my peaceful life. I looked up at the blue sky where the white clouds were flying freely, blown by the wind. If only I could be one of those clouds. Pretend you're a cloud. That's like a coping mechanism, right? About 3 hours passed. We just stayed up here all school day, didn't we? I spent the whole time silently crouched on the ground. For now, nobody seemed to be following me. Only after that was I able to relax. The problem was, what did I do now? Somebody was sure to come up here and eat during lunch. Maybe my best option would be to run out of the school and back to the base during 4th period. It would screw up my schedule, but I didn't have anywhere near the courage I need if I wanted to go back to class with the demon girl there. My bag was still there, but I'd just have to forget about it. The only things in it were books anyway. My important stuff, like my wallet and key, were all in my uniform pocket. Wait, right? I got worried and double-checked. Wallet, key, phone, they were all there. Only then did I remember that someone had called me earlier. It had really freaked me out when it happened. Not as much as when Rimi spoke to me, though. Who could it be? The only people who could possibly want to call me would be my family. Oh, are we not yet in the age of constant spam calls? It was most likely Nanami, right? She didn't care about whether she was bothering me or not. Who else would know that number? Oh, I also told it to those detectives. If it was them, maybe I should have picked up. We never did discuss exactly how they were going to send police officers to guard the base. Bruh, that's not happening. The LCD display showed the number of the person who'd called. It didn't look like it was Nanami. I noticed I had a voicemail, too. I think we missed a call from this number before. Did I recognize that number from somewhere? I decided to check my call history. Ooh, good or bad, good or bad, good or bad. Let's go good for now. There were only 5 calls there. In other words, only 5 times had someone called me since I'd bought my phone. 3 of them were from Nanami. What about the other 2? There was the one from 5 days ago and the one just now. Since their number wasn't in my contacts, it wasn't showing up as a name. But the number's the same, right? They were both from the same number. Yes, okay. If they left a message, it must mean that they really wanted to talk to me. They must really want to talk to you, man. What are we gonna hear? What are we gonna hear? I guess I could listen. Hey, it's me. I didn't call because I wanted to hear your voice or anything. I just was kind of bored, that's all. Got it? Okay. But you know, we're in different classes now, so we don't get much of a chance to talk. Hey, how do you feel about me? Have you never thought about asking me out? Of course, even if you did, I wouldn't feel happy about it at all. There's not even the slightest guarantee I'd say yes either. Okay, where it's like a tsundere girly act giving us the push-pull. But you know, you have to try or you'll never know, right? Anyway, just try asking me out and see what happens, got it? So, I'll be waiting under the legendary tree after school today. Hurry up and come, you'd better. Okay, now what does it really sound like? Yeah, that could totally happen. Wait, no it couldn't. Our school didn't even have a legendary tree. Who was that tsundere girl supposed to be anyway? Lol. True, like we don't know anyone like that yet. She was kind of a lame character. I should have made it Seretan at least. I guess now wasn't the time for delusions. I sighed a lonely sigh and decided to listen to the message. I looked around to make sure the demon girl wasn't anywhere nearby and put the phone up to my ear. This is your voicemail service. You have one new message. You have one new message. First message. Message left on Friday, October 17th at 8:28 a.m. A little song? What the heck? What I heard wasn't a voice. It was a melody I knew well. It seemed to be playing somewhere far off in the distance. The caller might have been standing near a traffic light. Do the traffic lights make noises like that? You heard that melody a lot at crosswalks to let the blind know the light had changed. The song was called Torianse, by the way. A lot of people knew the melody, but not many knew the lyrics, probably. I knew them, for what it's worth. I learned them in elementary school. I didn't remember them completely, but they went something like this. Pass through, what narrow path is this? This is the narrow path of Tenjin. Please let us pass through. None may pass through, but that have business here. We've come to offer this talisman. For our child's 7th birthday, the going is easy. Hey! It sounded like the way back is beep boop, beep boop. It sounded like an ambulance or something. It was probably a coincidence, but still, it was creepy. Yeah, it's just going back and forth between two notes. And a big buzz? Just after the melody cut off, I heard what sounded like a loud buzzer. The volume was so loud, I yanked the phone away from my ear. What the hell? Dude, what if that's like a mind control kind of song message, like, or subliminal? Maybe there's like a subliminal message in it, like, ooh, I'm a little scared. I fearfully put the phone back to my ear, but the message was over. Because it's like, what if the people who died or the people who committed murder were under, or like had gotten this kind of call maybe beforehand, and it wormed its way into their brains and they got activated somehow. I don't know. What was that about? I felt like I'd heard the earth rumbling at the end, too. That buzzer was totally different than the traffic signal. If it was that loud, they must have brought it right up to the phone. A prank call, maybe? My heart was racing. Had I done something to piss somebody off? Who'd even made this call? I had their numbers, so I could call back if I wanted to, but I didn't have the courage. There was nothing I could do about it. And anyway, I was still in the middle of something much worse happening to me. I put my phone in my pocket and left the school, watching my surroundings as carefully as I possibly could. Okay, that is the weirdest fucking voicemail I've ever gotten. Um, I'm truly scared of what it's going to do to him. I'm more paranoid about it than he seems to be right now, but I guess we'll get back to his thoughts on that next time. Thank you so much for being here. If you made it this far, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you didn't, I don't know, put it in the comments or something. And subscribe. Hey, I did it that time. Sussy scribe, and then you will know when the next one's posted. It'll let me know you're subscribed, and I can see you there.